Hi, my name is Curley. I am currently a HR administrator for Chesterfield County Public Schools. I'm here today to talk to you about an artificial intelligence human resources self-service system that I'm proposing that the school system should look at implementing for several reasons. We're here today to talk about potential impacts and what that process would look like. I wanted to first give you some background on the school system. Many of you already work for us. Many of you know some of these numbers, but I don't think it hurts to take a look at these numbers when we're talking about potential impacts and the finances that would go into a program like this. Chesterfield County Public Schools is one of the largest school systems in Virginia, currently home to over 63,000 students and over 7,300 employees. There are only 5 human resources administrators to support the needs of all schools. Those human resources administrators handle requests from employees, questions from employees. They hire all employees. They handle employee relations issues, benefits questions, payroll questions. Um, they are kind of the primary contact point for administrators, supervisors, and employees. There's currently no self-service system available to employees or administrators to assist with some of the most basic requests. I've currently been with the school system for about a year, and just within that year, I've seen a large shift in the function of human resources within the system. Um, when I came on, we were beginning to make the shift away from the classic personnel department. Um, at the beginning of my tenure here, a lot of what we did was paperwork, filing new hire paperwork, handling benefits requests, handling any of the back end transactions behind the scenes to make sure people are paid correctly, classified correctly, and in their proper role. In general, in both the public and private sector, the human resources function is moving away from that and trying to be more proactive. Human resources departments are becoming more strategic. They help to plan and make long-term policy and strategy to impact the future of the organization. This allows the human resources team to be more proactive and less reactive. We have done a great job at attempting to enact that within the school system, but we have a ways to go. And I think that an artificial intelligence HR self-service system would help with that because as we do shift towards a strategic role, those personnel functions and those administrative tasks, those aren't going to go away. And that's something we're going to get into a little more here on the coming slides. So why is a self-service system needed? As I mentioned, the administrative tasks of HR are not going away. One study found that HR employees, well, government employees in general, spend up to 10% of their time documenting and recording information. Government employees are estimated to spend 20% of their time on supplemental tasks that they do not view as important. And that's according to that same study. 49% of all HR tasks are repetitive, and almost 15% of requests have been asked previously verbatim. Artificial intelligence can reduce labor costs and increase productivity. It can provide data to influence and support decision makers in the future. And if we are trying to become a strategic HR department, that data will go a long way towards making sure our policies are effective and impactful in a positive way. So what can an AI self-service system do? Obviously, this technology has really expanded over the last few years. AI self-service systems at this point can automate the completion of repetitive tasks that have a low impact on the global organization. Um, it can perform basic functions. It can make benefits changes, approve time off requests. Um, the one-on-one functions that impact only one employee, that's really what we're looking for a self-service system to perform. Many AI self-service systems have chatbots for an employee to type questions in, and these chatbots have the ability to learn answers to questions. So they may start by knowing only the basic information and policies, um, but the chatbot will recognize when it doesn't know an answer and a question needs to be escalated to a live member of the HR team. Once the live member answers that question, often these chatbots can learn that answer so that if the same question comes in at a later point, it has the ability to answer that question, and it'll be one more question that does not make it to the HR team and pull them away from a more strategic and impactful function. Now, one of the fears with an artificial intelligence HR self-service system is that it'll impact employee experience. Many studies have found that that is not the case. It actually impacts employee experience positively. Um, the chatbots in the system can be specifically individualized to enable employees to feel like they're interacting with somebody or with a system that is tailored specifically to them. Many employees don't even realize that they're not chatting with a live person when they use these systems. And most employees report that they had a positive interaction with the system. There was even one study that showed it had a positive effect on employee experience, employee commitment, and retention of employees. In a survey of HR leaders, 2/3 of the 350 people surveyed believed that employees were more comfortable using chatbots for requests related to time off, benefits, and leave of absence. Um, there are a lot of potential reasons for this. I think one reason is that sometimes employees are shy or nervous about making these requests. If it's a leave of absence or a benefits question, there may be privacy concerns. So they like to be able to handle these requests on their own. An AI self-service system can also create an environment in which employees feel like they are effectively resolving their own challenges and they own the process. That can remove the feeling that HR is the crutch and HR is needed for all of these basic functions and allow the employees to solve their issues on their own. In the last 2 years, Chesterfield County Public Schools has made a big push towards data-driven decision making. One of the things we have done is really ramped up our HR systems team to provide that data so that we have the evidence we need when making a decision or a policy change. An artificial intelligence self-service system can help with this. These systems are able to pull data and aggregate that data from multiple systems and multiple sources. They can be used to forecast various metrics and provide recommendations on a global or an individual level. Some of these recommendations can include what needs to be done to improve retention, um, both at a global level, and it can actually identify when an employee is at jeopardy of separating with the school system and provide recommendations for what can be done to retain that employee. The data provided gives insight into the organizational structure and patterns that may not have been identified previously, and that can allow the school system to function more efficiently and in a way that impacts the students and the staff more effectively and in a more cost-efficient way. These insights are far-reaching. They can touch anything that the system touches, and they can provide guidance and support for decisions and policy changes on a global level to impact the entire organization and not just one individual. Now, we are a public organization, so all of our budget and funding comes from the taxpayers and the government. So we do have to be financially responsible with any new program that we initiate. An artificial intelligence HR self-service system can actually save the school system money. One study found that with minimal investment, government organizations can save 2 to 4% in labor costs, and that can go all the way up to 30% in time and labor if they were to put in a maximum investment. That's based on the fact that data entry tasks cost an average of $4.39 per transaction. With an organization of 7,300 employees, you can imagine the amount of data entry that is involved with the HR function. The data entry involves everything from benefits tasks, hiring, promotions, demotions, um, employee relations. Basically, every HR administrative function involves data entry. And when we extrapolate that out, you can imagine the amount of money that the government and the school system is spending for these simple tasks. Based on the current environment in the school system, the current way that the HR function is being performed, and how we would like the HR function to be performed in the future, I am making a few recommendations today. Chesterfield County Schools should immediately begin to solicit bids from potential vendors that can provide us with an AI self-service program. This should be used as a pilot program. I am not recommending that we sign a long-term contract at this point. I think a one-year contract to start would be the best case scenario. Once a vendor is selected, the school system can start using it for the most basic HR functions. Those are the functions we talked about with address changes, information changes, changes to benefit selections, um, the most basic administrative tasks. After 1 year, I believe the school system should then conduct a cost-benefit analysis to determine if it is worth expanding the program to be able to perform more complicated functions, or if it's worth terminating the program at that point. I believe the committee for selection and approval of service should include the chief HR officer, the chief financial officer, the superintendent, and the chief technology officer. Now, obviously, they won't be the only people using this system, so they should solicit input from HR administrators, benefits directors, the employee relations director, and the human resource information systems team. I think that the employee relations director should also use surveys of some sort to determine the impact on employee relations and employee satisfaction with the system. Once a selection has been made, the proposed selection should be sent to the school board for approval. In summary, the human resource department can be the leading voice of change within an organization, and the leading voice when it comes to innovation. The HR team in Chesterfield County Schools is the perfect candidate for testing the capabilities of an AI system within the organization. For us to continue to shift towards a strategic HR function, we must consider adopting an AI self-service system that will free up the human resource administrators to focus on more impactful roles and tasks. There's a lot of vendors out there that currently offer these products, and it's imperative that we begin to evaluate these services and the cost involved with these services to determine what will be the best selection for Chesterfield County Public Schools. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today to review this proposal. I think that an AI HR self-service system has the potential to make a large impact on Chesterfield County Public Schools. I think that it is imperative that we begin to review the potential services that are available to us now and the costs involved with those services so that we can make the correct selection for the school system and begin to roll this pilot program out. I'll now take any questions. If you have questions that you don't feel comfortable asking in front of the group, you can always reach out to me directly via email or via phone. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today.